she is going to be talking about the meaning and importance of the blessing. Aren't you excited when you hear about the word blessing? Oh, are there any young people out there who really want to get blessed? Oh, yeah! Are there any older people out there who are enjoying their blessing? Yeah, I know I am. I love it. Yeah! This is going to be an exciting lecture. Please welcome our sister.
I think we can all go. I thought he's rounding out the last part of the lecture. We can all go home, right? Thank you, Justin. Yeah. Good afternoon, brothers, sisters. Can we still make it for the last part? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, the meaning and significance of the blessing, right? What is the ideal and where is the ideal? Can we see the ideal? Well, the world was created to be a good, peaceful, and ideal world for all of us, right? But in reality, what do we see? We live in a world of conflict. But look at this. The creation itself is so beautiful. If we look at creation itself, it is really awesome, right? Well, shall we keep on looking at this? Well, I think this is all about the lecture. Well, if you look at it, originally, in the Garden of Eden, right, there should have been the marriage of one man, right, and one woman, right? Because what? Adam and Eve should have been blessed in holy marriage, and humankind should have become God's descendants, because God actually gave 3 great blessings at that time: to be fruitful, matured individual, to become immature individual, and to multiply and to have dominion over the creation. If the idea of God's creation, right, everyone should become true individual, you loving family, loving dominion over our creations. Like, this is actually the ideal. If the ideal has been like this, God's idea and our purpose of creation, the 3 great blessings, when the blessings should be fulfilled based on a 4-position foundation, it should be less. But instead, men should be, and women should be born for the sake of each other. And men and women are different from each other, both physically and in character. And a man and a woman cannot accomplish their purposes without each other. A woman is the one who perfects a man and vice versa. So, the perfection of love through the marriage of Adam and Eve, that is where you will see the appearance of God's love on earth substantially. So, total investment for one spouse is the starting point of true love. A husband should love and serve his wife, and a wife should love and serve her husband. The sexual organ is the most important of all organs because it is a culminating point of conjugal love. Love itself enables the husband and wife to unite spiritually and physically, and life creates new lineage and a new generation, and creates a lineage, the inheritance of God's love. So the most precious of all blessings is to receive the love of God. The ultimate purpose of the blessing is to create a true family. In order to experience the 4 great realms of heart: child, siblings, spouse, and parents. But do we see that in today's society, right? Originally, it was supposed to take place in the Garden of Eden. We'll see what happens here. Are you still awake? Yes. Great. Wow, isn't it scary, right? I hope all of you are awake now. Wow. Let us look at the story of the fall. Adam and Eve shamed after their crime. They were both naked, but they felt no shame. She took some of the fruit and ate it, and he also ate it. Then they realized that they were naked, so they made coverings for themselves. I have concealed my sin as Adam did by hiding my guilt in my heart. So, what crime did our first ancestors commit? Adam and Eve covered their private lower parts, fornication, or the illicit sexual relationship. The fall of Adam and Eve was caused by non-principled love. Eve had a relationship of conjugal love with the archangel who could never qualify to stand in the position of her spouse. So Adam and Eve shared conjugal love while still immature. Eve's conjugal relationship with Adam was self-centered. She had 2 husbands and 2 relationships of conjugal love. So true love requires eternal love to only one spouse. So the premature and illicit sexual relationship here are the first human ancestors, causing the change of lineage that is from God to Satan's claim, and that is where the origin of human evil comes in. If you look at the consequences of the fall, you realize that the failure of Adam and Eve's marriage destroyed true love, true family, and God's idea of creation. Had there been no fall, we would have inherited true love, true life, and true lineage from them. That is how we were supposed to come into being. We were meant to be brought into this world when they united in true love. Therefore, it was meant to be a center of the universe and a representative of Heavenly Parents' love, a central manifestation of the formula for horizontal love and a central being of true love formed to union of horizontal and vertical love. That is how we were all meant to be. But instead, you will see that to realize true family, we must liberate God. Up to now, there has never been a true family, a family whose lineage is based on God's true love. Our ancestors are fallen, and our ties with them are based on false love, false life, and false lineage. That is the reason our mind and body struggle with each other. Actually, history starts on a very wrong footing, right? Centered on the fallen Adam-Eve relationship. Without an ideal man or woman, we cannot even restore God's ideal sovereignty or to bring about an ideal world. So, in a way, God starts with salvation here. It equals to restoration. More than just forgiveness, return to the original value and condition before the fall, return to God's lineage. This restoration is equal to the reversal of the fall. Actually, the purpose of the Messiah in human history, right, to really come in to help fallen Adam to really come from the fallen realm to go into the realm of heaven, to really build the heaven on earth. And the salvation here, to establish a foundation for the Messiah. Actually, Adam and Eve became enemies, and killing occurred among their children. God's providence of salvation is a providence to restore all this. In order to complete the providence of restoration, of salvation, we have to build the true family that was lost. That is, we have to be sons and daughters who unite mind and body, and then we have to become couples that absolutely unite in true love and live with God eternally. So our portion of responsibility here comes in when establish the foundation for the Messiah to receive the Messiah. When Jesus came, in order to create new Adam and also to become true parents, to bring rebirth. So idea for the Jesus as a second Adam with true love and to create, with no original sin, to create a beautiful family, the heaven and on earth and spiritual world. Actually, the fall took place. The fall took away God's freedom. The fall also put the first ancestors of the human race in shackles and the realm of the angels as well. Not only that, countless religious people in religion, in history, live that way. Such is the case for all humankind. As you can see here, how false parents came about humanity under Satan's lineage, and how original sin, how they can live in such a situation. Actually, Messiah's main mission. So what do you think is the Messiah's main mission? What do you think is the Messiah's main mission? To restore to the original state of state where we were originally meant to be, right? Because we were fallen with original sin, and so only the Messiah can do this, right? To remove original sin, rebirth, to be born again. Okay, for Jesus actually to become the second parent, he had to restore the position of Adam and Eve, who should have been the first parents. Yet he was unable to restore the position of the first parents. We should have been the victorious foundation to be the second parent. Because Jesus died before he could lay this foundation, the providence was prolonged to the third attempt. So therefore, the returning rebirth, the returning Messiah, the returning Lord have to come in order to bring salvation to us. So the Lord who comes for this third attempt must establish a victorious foundation by indemnifying both spiritually and physically the failure of Adam and Eve, the first parents, and the work of Jesus and the Holy Spirit, who came in the position of the second parents. Rebirth, usually you say the change of blood lineage right here. And so Adam failed and Jesus died before he could conclude his mission as a second Adam. Hence, it is the Lord of the second Advent coming as a third Adam who must complete this mission, both spiritually and physically, and eliminate Satan's domain and sovereignty. So, he said that you have been cut off from what is by nature a wild olive tree and grafted into a cultivated olive tree, as in Romans 11:24, and in John 15:5, I'm the vine and you are the branches. If you look at here, the change of blood lineage and the providence of restoration on Adam's family, the original sin entered into the human lineage. And then the purpose of the providence of restoration can never be fulfilled without the Messiah. Here, you can see that the chart shows how the lineage of Jesus have been purified in the history of Judaism. So Jesus came as a second Adam and true parents to establish a true family, to give rebirth to fallen people, to restore the three blessings. But the painful reality is that he faces the cross. So in the process of this, Keng killed Abel, failure to separate good and evil. You can see that Jacob, the younger brother, restored the birthright from Esau, the elder brother, restored the family on God's side, the starting point of the chosen nation. Rebekah symbolically restored the pure womb through unity of Jacob and Esau. Even Tamar's condition of heart made the condition to restore God's blood lineage. Tamar substantially restored the pure womb. So after the fall, Adam actually became the source of good and evil. The struggle to separate good and evil had to start from within the womb. And then, what have I been doing? Father's words about rebirth. But what I've been doing can never be easily achieved. It can never be done to physical power or by violence. It must be done with a principle, which is an iron rule. If you can understand Tamar, you can actually understand the whole principle. So who did Tamar have a relationship with? Tamar, actually, according to Father's words here in October 1970, the woman Tamar had a relationship with her father-in-law Judah. According to the law in those days, a woman who committed adultery had to be stoned to death. Tamar's first husband had died, and then her second husband had died also. But she knew God loved the blood lineage. For Tamar, her personal dignity was not a factor. She was only concerned about preserving the blood lineage, which God loved. Since she loved the blood lineage, she stood in a providential position, and she was able to establish the proper condition of heart. With such a heart, she had a relationship with her father-in-law. The twins were conceived, and at the time of birth, one baby's hand emerged but was withdrawn. The two boys struggled, and the other boy was actually born first. You can see that in Genesis 38, verses 27 to 30. This actually represented the younger brothers gaining the victory over the elder brother in the womb, even before birth. The change of lineage here, the standard of victory gained in the womb of Tamar was handed down from generation to generation through the tradition of Israel, the descendants who believe in Judaism. So why did they have to establish a foundation for the Messiah at a national level? Because there were already many nations in the satanic world. So God had to establish a national level foundation in which to compete with them. God's side had to stand in the position of Abel on a national level. For that purpose, God guided the Israelites and helped them develop their victorious foundation on a national level. Even Mary's mission, Mary inherited the standard of Tamar's faith and heart, forgetting everything, even her own dignity and social environment. She regarded God's will in the highest priority. So Mary maintained the standard of victory, and Satan could not accuse her. So Jesus was conceived and born directly from God on the foundation established by Mary. So Jesus was born from that unique victorious blood lineage. Therefore, he was the only begotten Son, beloved by God. So the central purpose of Jesus coming as the Messiah is to restore the restoration of his spouse, holy marriage, the perfection of true love, two parents, and the beginning of God's eternal blood lineage. But it never took place. Even though Jesus showed the greatest example of true love on an individual level by having his enemies and sacrificing his life, he could not experience nor explain true love to the family level, the four-position foundation. So the restoration of God's love, God's life, and God's lineage has to be proceeded on by the second advent of Christ. And here you go on the significance of the blessing. The original purpose of marriage is to inherit God's love, creatorship, and lordship to two parents. Without two parents, there has been no way to inherit everything of two parents. Therefore, we can say that there has been no true marriage. In fact, the blessing, the significance of the blessing and marriage would originally have been at the time of the perfection of one's individuality. The fall occurred by marriage centered on Satan at the top of the growth stage. Restoration is accomplished by marriage centered on God at the top of the growth stage. The blessing means a rebirth and not the original marriage. And you can see that the significance of the blessing here, that is before the meeting, the cause of separating from Satan in order to create as a condition to meet the Messiah to receive the blessing in the graph. So through the blessing, we can understand and we can stand in a position to inherit true love from two parents as a children and establish the relationship of parents and children. How to solve our original sin that has never been solved. To engrafting so in order to be restored to, we get the holy blessing. Even truly, truly I say to you, unless one is born anew, he cannot see the kingdom of God. We represent the men and women of human history, restoring the identity, the position of Adam and Eve. The blessing is a starting point of a new tribe, a new nation, and a new world centered on God. That is, in order to resolve the original sin. So the blessing is a special gift from God to two parents. In Father's words, he said, the new heaven and new earth begin when God resolves all the issues representing history, heaven and earth, all people, and the entire providence. Then he will decide all things and transfer everything to one place. The gates of the blessing are that astonishing. The blessing is so great that you could not buy it even if you offered the nation of Israel, or the countless prophets and patriotic martyrs, or all the words of God for 6,000 years, or all of Jesus and the Holy Spirit's words for 2,000 years, or even all the suffering endured by all humanity in thus to this day. So, in fact, it is so serious. The Father is talking about this blessing, about original sin and how to receive the blessing. The conditions to receive the blessing, the resolution, you can read this here. And actually, to receive the Messiah, I must establish within myself a foundation for the Messiah. I am the central figure myself. My mind, body, life are my conditional object. My life is my time period. In order to receive the Messiah, is actually to receive the blessing, to accept, believe in, and unite with the two parents, to receive the marriage blessing from the two parents. And my original sin, the meaning here, my original sin is removed. My blood lineage is changed. Satan lost his condition to claim me. Then God has a condition to claim me. The blessing is a fulfillment of my life as an individual. I am in God's lineage. I have the potential to become a true child, son or daughter of God. What happens after my blessing is my responsibility, my life of faith. It's to live for the sake of others and to experience 4 great realms of heart, the 3 great kingships. You see that these are the core values that can be accomplished in the blessed families. If you ask yourself, have you ever met the ideal grandfather or even a grandmother whom God had been searching for? Have you ever met a grandfather or a grandmother that you would like to go to, right? Have you ever met the person or not? Because of the fall, you never could meet such a person. Have you met the ideal father or mother whom God has been waiting for or searching for? No, you have not. Have you ever met the ideal wife or husband whom God has been searching for? No, you have not. Have you ever met the ideal son or daughter whom God has been waiting for? So God has not found such people. So how can his bitter sorrow ever be resolved? What can sever the chains? We can look through that it can only be done by love and by God's love, and that nothing except God's essential love, and that is through the holy blessing, the restoration and the holy blessing of the true parents. The solution, the misery and misfortune, right, to the blessing, the restoration to indemnity. So then, from the fall, to restore back to the original state of mind, our hope is to realize God's idea on earth. This is fulfilled through the holy blessing of the true parents. From God, channeled through true parents, God representatives, like eternal value, into the spirit world, because the blessing is not only just temporal, it is eternal. And to eradicate original sin, Satan's claim by the right of two-parentship claim. So the value of the holy blessing, it changes the blood lineage with the forgiveness of all past sins and registration as citizens to God's kingdom. So holy blessing is dedicated to God and two parents, the sake of world peace, the sake of the nation, our tribes and clans, the next generation or descendants, our ancestors, our past generation, my family, and lastly myself. So the 5 steps process of the holy blessing, the holy wine ceremony, the holy blessing ceremony, the holy indemnity stick, purification, and the holy day ceremony. I'll go very quickly through this. Actually, the significance of the 40 days sanctification after the blessing. Due to the fall, the vertical relationship of life with God was cut off, and man has formed a horizontal relationship of death. Therefore, fallen man must be resurrected from the sphere of death. To be resurrected, fallen man has restored to the indemnity the 4,000 years from Adam to Jesus. And by having control over the horizontal relationship of heart and love. For this purpose, the 40-day period, which symbolizes 4,000 years, is needed. Therefore, this period is a period necessary for the restoration of the vertical heartistic relationship. By establishing the vertical heartistic relationship, you can establish the foundation where Satan cannot invade, even if you have horizontal relation of heart with your spouse. The meaning of the vertical relationship, the heartistic relationship, is this: important to overcome the heartistic feelings between son and mother, and it also includes the blessing pledge. To be faithful in marriage, no adultery. To raise children and grandchildren to be pure in preparation for marriage, to live for the sake of others as a married couple and as a family, to encourage people of all races, religions, nationalities, and cultures to live as one family under God. So you can see that the significance of two parents' holy blessing. Two fathers talk about the holy wine ceremony as the internal change of blood lineage. This is the ceremony for original sin to be forgiven and to separate from Satan. Without getting rid of original sin, you cannot go into the stage in which you may be blessed as a true child. So in order to eliminate the original sin, your blood lineage must be changed. This ceremony is for you to become spiritually one with a completely restored Adam. Actually, the coming of the law of the second Advent, the holy wedding of two parents, that was held on the lunar calendar in 1960, March 1960. This victorious family stood in a position to identify 6,000 years of human history. God's search for this one family, to his providence of restoration, the salvation of all humankind, and the removal of the original sin, became possible based on this victory. I think this was the most happiest day in the history of humanity, because it started off a new, completely new lineage, completely cut off from Satan's lineage. The two parents' holy blessing. 1960, two parents opened a new chapter in the history of human salvation. Replaces Satan's lineage with God's lineage and recovers the order of love rooted in God. So for the first time, God's love, life, and lineage were tied together. And these are all the different blessing groups. Actually, I will run through very quickly with this. And I will tell you the meaning. I'll go to maybe two or three. The meaning of the first three couples, the blessing that was taken place in Seoul. And these three couples were a protective shield for two parents, conducted in the midst of heavy persecution, extensive symbolic meaning, such as Wonpil King represented Adam's family, Miss Reverend Ho Wan Yu, Jesus' family, Yon Wee Kim, the family of the Lord of the Second Advent, and also Noah's wife, and the three sons' families. Then also Cain, Abel, Seth, and their families. Keng in the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the completed Testament ages. Jesus' three disciples, the three archangels, the three sons of Noah. These three couples were a standard or a model and an internal and historical event, and that took place, sets the pattern and shows how God, through parents, are going to change and save the world. They were the very foundation. The next one is the 36 couples blessing in Seoul. And these come in three groups of 12. The first 12 is the pure one who had never been married. And then the other 12 is not married but seeking marriage. And the 12 previously married. They restore Adam's, Noah's, and Jacob's families. And restore Adam to Noah's, Noah to Abraham, and Abraham to Isaac's, and Jacob's time period. Represent the 12 gates of heaven. And the Jesus 12 disciples, the spirit world, Christian world, new world to come, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the completed Testament. All these three groups should support two parents, condition for humanity to receive blessing. And the next group after the 36 is the 72. Even 2 times of 36. For Cain and Abel, restoration on family level. 36 couples represent the Abel, and the 36 couples represent the Cain. And then Adam and Eve came on the foundation of Cain and Abel. Jesus' 70 apostles were the 6 leaders of each Jewish tribe. And the next one is 124 couples in soul. The tribal significance of Cain and Abel, disciples of Jesus Christ, symbolize the heads of the nations of the world. The 120 couple blessing represented 12 tribes of 10 couples each, making a worldwide foundation. Cain and Abel, branches of the 36 couples, 120 plus 4, the 4 previously married couples, the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. So on the foundation of this blessing, the 120 holy grounds in 40 nations could be blessed in 1965. And the 120 represents the world and represents 120 nations. So 36 plus 72 plus 124 equals to heavenly tribe. I will move on because these are very going into detail of all the different tribes, groups of blessings until now. For interest, you can get it to you. And then it goes on, I'll just show you graphically all the blessings that took place. Can give you a feeling of the atmosphere at that time. Most of the pictures are in black and white. This 1275 is where myself and my husband, we participated in this blessing. And that was held here in the McCall factory here in Korea. So, the officiators of the holy blessing, the true parents, and then the blessing goes bigger and bigger in numbers. And very quickly, and then with this, it goes on to the religious leaders and the UN. And okay, the benefits, what can you get from this? Right? Protection of your family from harm, establishment of happy family, bring good fortune to the family instead of misfortune, fidelity and trust between husband and wife, assurance of future generations, eternal joy and happiness and blessings. Because our blessing is not just a simple marriage, but it is very special in order to restore our fallen original nature, original sin. As family, right? To create a family, which is the sweetest word that you can find. And a good wife can bring balance to your wife, to your life. You see that? Yes. Okay. So, if you have true love, you know, love has no expiration date, right? When you buy things, you always have package. When is the expiration date, right? When, until when you cannot use it, you have to throw it out. But true love, my dear brothers and sisters, there's no expiration date. So no matter how old you both get, never stop holding hands, never stop saying, I love you. Brothers and sisters, that's how beautiful our marriage is, our blessing is. So, these are the resources I get from Paul. This? Yes. Okay. This was taken in 2004, so it's like 12 years later. So they have grown. I couldn't, well, I should have given you the latest one, but I couldn't find one. Yes, that was taken in Chongpyeong. Yes. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's sum up the significance of blessing, right? So I'm sure all of you, just to remind you how beautiful the blessing is in the church, from two parents, and it's not just a simple marriage. Thank you, brothers and sisters. I hope you're all awake.